I know, right? The YouTube needs a new paramilitary tour of yours about as much as Instagram needs another Harambe the Gorilla meme. It's highly topical humour for 2016 for all you people watching in a few years' time. Anyway, I'm going to soldier on. I'm going to keep it brief though, and I'll try and intersperse with as many action shots as possible, because really, the thing that's new about this one, visually, is the blue handles. I know, right? It's like Malibu Stacy. This year with a new hat. There we go. Let's get into it. Start off with what I know about the knife, the facts, then what I like about the knife, what I'm in the middle with about the knife, and then whatever I can find that I don't like about the knife. Stay with me, folks. Rightio, so Spyderco Paramilitary 2, this model in S110V steel, overall length 8.24 inches, 209 millimeters. Blade length 3.42 inches, 87 millimeters. Steel is CPM S110V. Closed length 4.82 inches, 122 millimeters. Edge length, so from there to there, 3.04 inches, 77 millimeters. Weight 3.8 ounces. Blade thickness 3.7 millimeters. That's 0.145 inches. Handle is made of G10. Price is 250 Australian dollars for this model, 150 US dollars, roughly knife center-ish price. Full flat grind, compression lock, bronze washers, large tactical everyday carry knife, 4-way pocket clip, smooth one-hand opening action. Those are the facts. What I like about the knife, it has a very sturdy, solid feel. Immediately in hand, you can tell this is like a hard use, or a knife that can take a few knocks. So for one, it's very, very well made, and the quality is apparent from when you first handle it from the box. It's pretty lightweight for a knife of its capability. It's definitely a step up from your Spyderco Delicas, which weigh in at about 2.5 ounces. For that extra ounce or so, you get a fair bit more, muscle to your knife. It's very ergonomic. It's got a nice sort of bone-shaped handle there, which fits well just wrapped around your hand in a hammer grip. Bit of extra jimping there on the spine. Slide your thumb up, then you can pinch up a bit further, do some choil kind of cuts. A little bit cramped though, but definitely a workable grip too. Now, one thing I love about this knife, and let's get on to a slicing montage, is this blade. This full flat ground blade, even though it's a little bit thicker than usual, it can slice like crazy because it's pretty tall, so the grind really tapers down, and even when it's not so tall, the knife is getting thinner. So very, very keen edge translates to a flat surface, which translates to great slicing. You slice the heck out of anything you want to slice. Really good stuff. But the good thing is, with the grip and with the two types of holding the knife, as well as the nice grippy handle and the general ergonomics and the thick stout blade, you can pretty much put this into some reasonably heavy cutting. You could take this out doing some woodworking or some tent stake making, things like that, if you wanted to take it backpacking. Just a note on that, I don't think I'll be taking this one backpacking, because the last one I took on a trip with me got lost in the river. So there we go. I'd be bringing something more like a rat one, which can do a lot of the same sort of things. I'll do some knife comparisons later, but there we go. The pillar construction allows for easy cleaning. You can just blast through there with some compressed air or some WD-40 or whatever you clean your knives with. S110V holds an edge forever. It's a crazy sharp and crazy long-lasting edge still. It's pretty tricky to sharpen, but just cuts for ages. It's still shaving sharp, and I've used this for cutting cardboard and wood and pretty much all the stuff that you cut for testing and just for everyday life. So S110V it's up there with some of the best steel you can get. I like its general look. I think it's a good looking knife, which is weird because I think Spydercos by default are kind of ugly, but I think this is a good looking, cool looking Spyderco, and I'm not sure if it's just part of the mystique or part of the brand of the knife. I don't know. The lock is strong, so it's kind of like it's a bit like a triad crossed with a liner lock, because a liner lock pinches the tang of the blade between this back stop pin here, so it's quite a strong lock. I mean, it's still quite a thin piece of metal, but it's a wideish piece of metal, so a lot would need to go wrong for this knife to fail and close. And also, you don't have to put your hands in the path of the blade when you're locking and unlocking a knife, even if you can't flick it open and shut every time, which as these break in, you do end up getting there. Trust me, you do. I had it on my last one, just not on this one. You do get there, and it is, you know, even when you're not quite there, you still don't have to be getting your fingers cut off, closing your knife. So that's cool too. So the fast and smooth deployment couples with that lock, you get that from some nice big bronze phosphor washers. Very, very nice. Those are the things I like about the knife. Things I'm not so fussed about, the pocket clip, it's just okay. I would prefer it default with either the deep carry or with the wire clip. This one's quite, a fair bit sticks out of the pocket, and I'll just show you a photo of this in pocket. It's a fair, like, especially with this being a purple wad kind of thing, it's a bit noticeable. So, but you know, this isn't a discreet, you know, carry to the grocery store type knife. This is carry on your own property, carry when you're out camping, bushwalking, carry when you're doing hard knife work. The G10, it's fairly rough. It's probably not necessarily needed to be that rough because it's, see if you can hear that. It's not necessary because there's quite a few ergonomic features built into the knife anyway, but I know G10 sort of defaults to this kind of texture, so it's not like cold steel recon level rough, but I would love it if they did like a smooth handle version of this, so just a neutral, not necessarily a knock. The spider hole can be a little bit sharp. I think I've got a callus on my thumb by now, but when I do it with my left thumb, it's just, you know, you can see if you had real ginger hands, you could probably, you know, get a bit of a blister going or something from playing with it all day. And yeah, I guess the fourth, whatever it is, yeah, the fourth thing, it's probably a little bit big, and it's not the best choice for someone, like as a gift knife for someone who's not really into knives, because they're going to be like, this knife is huge, I'm not carrying that, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Kind of thing. So it's just that, something to be aware of rather than knocking it. Now the only fail here, the only thing that I don't think suits the knife is the tip. I think the tip is too delicate, and I know it'd be a very small change, but I would rather they went for the Spyderco Delica tip, which ironically isn't as delicate. It's actually got a slight drop on it, which adds the durability. I can just see this getting stuck in some wood when you're shaving wood or carving wood, doing something heavy, and you know, bending, folding off perhaps. With this steel, perhaps snapping, because I think it's a higher heat rate, about a 61. So yeah, just something that I think I wouldn't mind if they dropped the tip on the Paramilitary 3 to make it Delica-ish, because when you've got a knife this big, I don't think you're going to be as fast not being able to pick splinters out with it as easily, and you still can pick splinters out with any knife really, as long as it's not a complete sheep's foot. But yeah, just something that I would advise if Spyderco are watching my video. I can't even say it without laughing. If Spyderco are watching my videos, I'd probably suggest doing that. But that's just me. But overall, this is a good knife for everyday carry, a great knife for hard work. Just be sure not to pry on the tip, or else you'll most likely ruin your knife and do it a mischief. You'll have a long time obsession with this knife, like I have. I was devastated when I lost it. Of all the knives I would have lost back then, it was the worst one to have lost, and I lost it. It has a high level of general quality, which is immediately apparent in hand. It's hard to describe in words. It has just enough moving parts to keep us, you know, sensory people like me, you know, us borderline, you know, Aspergery type people who always want to fidget with something. Keeps us happy. It's nice, and it's somewhat complex, but it's also simple where it counts too. Coupled with the Delica, I think this and the Delica are like essential Spyderco. I mean, I like the Mantra the most, it's probably my favourite knife, but I think Paramilitary, Delica, maybe Endura, maybe Manix, seriously Spyderco's greatest hits. And it's obviously not going anywhere, the design, and it's a good one. I'll just show up some other size comparisons. I'll run this against a similar knife to this, made by Zero Tolerance. It's a little bit heavier, it's a couple of ounces heavier, but it's kind of like a super version of this knife, is the ZT0909. Sort of similar elements, sort of like a loose sort of, you know, bony, bone-shaped, you know, palm swell handle, and then, you know, a mostly flat blade. This one is a slight saber, but this one's got a bit more of a stouter tip, and it's obviously a flipper, but very similar kind of philosophies behind it. So it's like a tactical everyday carry knife. It's a little bit on the thicker side, as you see there, and you know, it's got those full liners rather than these are recessed on the PM2. So if you want something a little bit beefier, the zero tolerance 0909 might be an option. Now if you're after something a bit lighter, the Manix 2 is definitely your option there. It's about an ounce lighter, feels a lot lighter, probably slightly more ergonomic in the hand, but a little less special in my opinion as well. A little bit too much plastic going on there to really make it seem nice, and it's not as fun to play with. And if you want something cheaper that will do really the same tasks I mentioned before, the Ontario Rat 1. It's a little bit of a longer knife, it's got even a bigger handle than the Paramilitary, and it's got this odd sort of neck on the blade which makes the blade seem longer, but the cutting edge is the same. This will do all of your hard use outdoory stuff just as well. It's also a fairly thick blade, like the PM2. So that's also another really good alternative as well. Anyway, that'll conclude my review. Thanks for watching. Thanks for having the patience to sit through another PM2 review, just listening to my voice. I shall see you in the next video. Adieu.